SCP-26 Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures SCP-26 is to remain securely locked and boarded up at all times when there is no research ongoing. Alarms are set to alert the Foundation in case of entry by civilians or other agencies. Description: SCP-26 is a 3-story public school building built in
Redacted.
It has 2 wings connected to a central foyer. It was declared condemned in
Redacted.
after it was found the floor plan didn't match the building's blueprints. See Interview Log 26-01. It came to the Foundation's attention after several disappearances in the area were linked to visits to the abandoned building. The building demonstrates spatial anomalies. Its internal space is much greater than the external surface of the building would allow. Hallways display variable length, while stairways have differing numbers of steps going up or down. The number of rooms off the hallways changes each time they are counted. Attempts to reach the far ends of the hallways have met with failure thus far. Entrance to the fire escapes located at the ends of the hallways leads to doors approximately midway down the length of the halls. Correction: see Note 026-A. There is considerable graffiti on the interior walls of the school. Most appears typical, including gang signs, names, and street art. However, the graffiti fades and reappears, changing location. Writing on chalkboards and bulletin boards changes in similar fashion. Subjects typically found range from standard school subjects, mathematics, literature, biology, to more esoteric subjects, such as quantum entanglement
Redacted.
and eugenics. One researcher reported one board detailing information about SCP,
Redacted.
but photographic evidence showed only a blank slate. See Note 26-B. The phrase, "the children used to sing," has appeared multiple times in various places throughout the building, but there is currently no explanation for the significance. A number of unconscious subjects have been found in the building, mostly of high school age, ranging from 12 to 18. They are dressed in accordance to the school's dress code, circa
Redacted.
Several have been identified as former students or faculty of the school who disappeared in the year the school shut down. In at least one case, more than 10 years after the closure. It is currently unknown how they were transported back into SCP-26. See Note 26-C. All attempts to wake the subjects while inside the building have failed. On being removed from the grounds of SCP-26, the subjects wake abruptly. They experience a period of confusion before dying from extremely rapid dehydration, followed by an advanced decomposition. No useful intelligence has been recovered from the subjects to date. The inability to wake subjects extends to those who fall asleep on the grounds of SCP-26, though the rapid dehydration only seems to affect those who have been found on the grounds of the school. See Incident Report 26-12. Note 26-A. Robotic exploration and video feeds have shown that the apparent spatial anomalies are caused by changes in perceptions of observers, rather than actual spatial phenomena. For this reason, SCP-26 does not require expertise of Mobile Task RH-08 roadside picnickers at this time. Update: further exploration has shown that some spatial phenomena do occur. See the exploration logs for more details. Note 26-B. The contents of notepads, books, and pieces of paper have been observed to disappear, only to reappear on surfaces within SCP-26. New writings have appeared, mostly drawn from graffiti or textbooks. Caution should be exercised in bringing documents onto the grounds of SCP-26. Note 26-C. Several D-Class personnel exposed to SCP-26 have disappeared from Foundation control, only to reappear inside the anomalous building. The subjects in question had previously complained of dreams identical to those experienced by Agent Malik. Update: see Interview Log 26-8. Incident Report 26-12. During a routine security check of SCP-26, Agent Malik was found unconscious by his partner, Agent Jones, in the main foyer. Initial attempts at rousing Agent Malik were ineffective, so he was moved for transportation to Site
Redacted.
Upon leaving the grounds of SCP-26, he woke abruptly in a state of agitation. When questioned, he revealed that he had been dreaming of a classroom setting. This dream has been consistent throughout all subjects who have fallen asleep within the grounds of SCP-26. Interview Log 26-1. Interview with
Redacted.
former principal at SCP-26. Agent
Redacted.
Thank you for your time, Mr.
Redacted.
Not at all. If there's one thing I have plenty of these days, it's time. So let's get down to business. You were the principal of
Redacted.
back in...
Redacted.
Is that correct? Yes, that's right. What can you tell us about that? Well, you've heard the stories, I'm sure. Folks say it was haunted. I don't know about that, but things did seem strange towards the end. Tell me about them. Well, let's see. There were the stairs, of course. You heard about that, right? People would count 15 coming up and 16 coming down. I'm sure there was a trick to it, like an optical illusion, but I could never figure it out. And we had a history book that turned up completely blank. I suppose these seem rather tame, but you know how it is. Little things add up. People tell stories. Tell me about the dreams. The dreams? Yes. People were complaining about nightmares. Mostly students, but few of the staff as well. It was always about school never ending. We joked about it at first, but more people talked about it, and I didn't put much credence into it. But, well, when we found the blueprints didn't match up with the school, it seemed easier just to move along to a new building. The schoolhouse was old, anyway, and we wanted a fresh start. And just like that, things seemed settled back to normal. I see. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Not really much. But maybe we'll make a nice footnote in that book you're writing. I still sometimes have dreams about being in my office, back in the old schoolhouse. Sometimes I'm doing paperwork, sometimes I'm talking with someone, but it's always behind the desk, just like old times. But gradually, I notice something's a bit off. The bell's ringing, but I don't hear anyone in the hallway, no students hurrying in or out of classrooms, no chatter, no footsteps, nothing but the bell. And it doesn't stop. The crazy thing is, I never notice it's a dream until then. I've been retired for 10 years, but I still notice the bell. I think everything's normal. Crazy, isn't it? I think it's very interesting. Thank you very much. If you think of anything else, don't hesitate to give me a call. Yeah, anytime. Interview log 26-8. Please have a seat. Thank you. Let's get down to business. I understand you're requesting a transfer to fieldwork. Would you like to talk about that? I'd rather not, actually. It's your choice. However, I can't approve a transfer without a reason. Look, You've seen my record. You know I worked on 26, right? Yeah, I've read the report. I was there the first time we took one of the sleepers out. A lot of them were adults when they disappeared, but they're kids again when we find them. So I see this 16-year-old boy just kind of shrivel away. I had nightmares that night. You're supposed to report any unusual dreams after contacting a potentially mind-altering phenomenon. It hadn't been declared as a mind screw yet. We just thought it was a weird space thing. We were just watching it until the picnickers got there. And it was a shock, you know. We weren't expecting anything like that. Anyway, I got over it quick enough. I had seen worse. I once had a guy melt while I was holding on to him. I see. What happened next? Well, nothing for a while. I went a couple of times, but I didn't see anything too weird. But, look, I know I should have reported it. But one of my buddies had just been disappeared after getting touched by some weird SCP, and I didn't want it to happen to me. You've been affected by an SCP? Yeah, it was a week later. I was dozing back in the van and I started dreaming. Can you describe this dream? It's just like the others. You've read the reports, right? Pretend that I haven't, just for the record, Agent Walker. Alright. I'm in a classroom, and it's like one of the ones in 26, but new, not falling apart. I knew the teacher's name, and knew who was sitting by me, even though I'd never seen most of them before. The bell started ringing, but no one moved. I raised my hand, but the teacher didn't notice. Finally, I tried to leave, but the door wouldn't open. Then I noticed something strange with my hand. It had color. Everything else was black and white, but I felt like I was the one who was wrong? You know, out of place. That's when I woke up, the van was leaving, and no one else noticed that I'd been asleep. And you didn't think to report this? Like I said, I was scared, and this was before they found Malik. I figured it was just another nightmare, nothing weird. And after Malik had his dream, well, they didn't do anything with him, so I figured it wasn't a big deal. Well, yeah, he was put on observation. You should have been as well, for your own safety and for the safety of others. You paper pushers think it's so easy, don't you? Sitting behind a desk all day, you don't know what it's like. Well, things are so clear out there. Not when you're the one hunting, taking down cats in a sewer, or waiting to see if you're the one who's not going to come back next time. Anyway, it wasn't until later that we connected the dreams with the sleepers. Not until they found those Class Ds on the second floor. Still, I thought I might be okay. I wasn't actually inside 26 when I dreamed. I wasn't sure until the dreams started. You're having reoccurrences? Yeah. They started 6 months ago. It's the same dream, but each time it takes me a little longer to notice it isn't real. And when I look at my hands, they're a little more gray each time. End interview 26-8. Note: Agent Walker has since been given a Class A amnestic and returned to fieldwork. SCP-26 Exploration Logs. Exploration Log 26-4. Exploration conducted by Agent Redacted. Alright, I'm walking onto the lobby. Walls are mostly bare concrete. A little paint here and there. Graffiti everywhere. A few beer bottles, some other trash. Looks like just another abandoned building. Okay, I'm making my way up the stairs. More graffiti on the walls. Okay, I'm going into the hallway. The peeling paint is kind of creepy. Looks like some sort of sheet fungus. Reminds me of Redacted. The doors are kind of weird. Some are really close, others are far. Really irregular spacing, doesn't match up with the blueprints you showed me. Okay, here's a classroom. Pretty empty. Some desks. Real old. Like they had in the 30s. The chalkboard's got a few math problems on it. Looks like trigonometry. Okay, I'm gonna check out the other room. I'm back in the hallway, heading to the next room. Desks look more modern in this room. Made from particle board. More posters here. Look, to be frank, from the 80s, I'd say. I recognize some of them from when I was a kid. Looks like Latin on the chalkboard. Yeah, I'm taking pictures. Okay, I'm back in the hallway, heading to the next room. There's something really screwy with this place. I could swear the room was just a few feet away, but it feels like I've been walking for hours. Anyway, I'm here. We got sleepers. 3 of them. 2 girls and a boy. They look to be around 14, 15. They're all wearing the same uniform. Yeah, just like the ones that you showed me. Hang on a minute while I take some pictures. At least we can figure out who they are. The furniture's pretty old looking. Or what's left of it. Lots of broken chairs and desks. Nothing on the walls. Chalkboards. The hell? You're not gonna believe this.
Redacted.
It's got Agent
Redacted.
notes up there. In her handwriting, even. We're gonna have to be really careful what we bring in here. Yeah, I got pictures, don't worry. I'm going to check out one more room and then I'm out. I'm back in the hallway now, heading for the next room. Another anomaly. I've been going the same direction this entire time, but I look back at the stairs. Yeah, I'm just going to head down. I've had enough of this place for one day. I'll meet you back at the door. The developed photos revealed
Redacted.
Exploration Log 26-12. Carried out remotely by using a robotic drone via video feed. Exploration of first floor hallway. The hallway appeared in poor condition with graffiti on the walls. Comparison with previous videos shows the graffiti has changed. Many of the same signs were present, but in different positions. Some seemed new. The doors were uniformly spaced on the wall. Some were intact, while others were cracked or missing entirely. First room in the hallway was a girl's bathroom. More graffiti on the walls. Several broken mirrors. A toilet had been removed from the wall entirely and placed in the center of the room. There was a great deal of porcelain and glass on the floor. The next room over was the boys' bathroom. This was skipped in favor of exploring the classrooms. The first classroom had no furniture. The chalkboard was broken into 2, and on one side of the board there were set the lines of the reading, "I will not pass notes during class." The other side had fragments of a lesson on
Redacted.
There was one poster on the wall depicting Helen Keller. The second classroom was well furnished, with the largest number of intact desks to date, mostly made from wood and steel in a style used in the 1950s. There were 2 sleepers found that had not been reported in previous sweeps of the building. The first was a male teenager in a student's desk. Comparison with file 26-4 revealed him to be
Redacted.
a former student of the school. He was reported missing 10 years after the school closed down, at age 28. The other was a woman in her mid-30s sitting behind the teacher's desk. Her identity is still unknown. The chalkboard had a timeline of World War II, overlaid with an intricate piece of graffiti. The third classroom had 15 particle board desks in various states of disrepair. A map on the back wall was consistent with the socio-political conditions of 1974. A bookshelf had collapsed and spilled a set of encyclopedias on the floor. The robot was then guided to the end of the hallway and back to the entrance. There was no sign of spatial anomalies at this time. Exploration log 26-15. Exploration conducted by Agent
Redacted.
accompanied by a robotic drone. Okay, I'm in. The lobby looks like it always does. Probably some graffiti drift. Here comes the robot. The lobby was compared to previous videos. Some differences in the graffiti were noted. Otherwise, no significant changes. I'm heading upstairs now. God damn, the robot's heavy. How much crap did you load onto it? You could have warned me. I'm gonna rest a second on the landing. Video coming out alright? Cool. First set of stairs was navigated without trouble. The second floor hallway appeared similar to the first floor hallway, though with less debris. Okay, I've caught up my breath, heading up to the third floor. Wish there was a guardrail. Next time it might be easier to carry the robot and the gear separately, and load in once it's up. The gear's pretty idiot-proof. I think I could have probably figured it out. Damn thing was way over 100 pounds. There on the third floor now. I count 12 doors? Weird spacing. That last door's got to be at least 100 yards down. This place is pretty messed up. Rangefinder showed the hallway was approximately 45 meters long. 5 doors on each side, evenly spaced, with one more door at the end of the hallway. 11 in total. Okay, I'm heading in. There's not as much graffiti up here. A bit of debris. I'm opening up one of the doors. Janitor's closet. And hey, we got a janitor. He's sleeping standing up. That's new. Male, seems to be in his mid-50s. Name tag says...
Redacted.
A couple of old broomsticks. What's left of a mop. Looks like rat have been nesting in here. They've shredded one of his pant legs. But it looks like they didn't touch the sleeper himself. What? You want samples? Sure. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing I've done in this job. Okay, that's it. Comparison with file 26-4 revealed the sleeper to be
Redacted.
Former janitor in SCP-26. Later analysis of the rat feces revealed
Redacted.
Recommended future exploration teams wear biohazard gear. Okay, here's a classroom. No sleepers. Couple of desks, intact. And the rest looks pretty bad. Looks like someone took a sledgehammer to the place. No, wait, I stand corrected. Baseball bat. It's leaning against the corner. There's about half a case of beer here. Full cans. Looks like they left in a hurry. Hey, get the robot to face the board. There's something I want you to see. Looks like Latin to me. Could be significant. Get someone to translate it. It might be a clue to what's going on down here. Latin was found to be a series of sentences showing different conjugations of the word vendere, to sell. All were found in
Redacted.
Latin Primer, a textbook formerly used by the school. The baseball bat was aluminum, and analysis of the fingerprints was inconclusive. Okay, next classroom. Looks fairly modern. 80s, I'd guess? Chalkboard's got a quote from Nicholas Nickleby on it. Yeah, I'm sure, it says right there on the board. The sun does not shine upon this fair earth to meet frowning eyes. Depend on it. Nicholas Nickleby, by Charles Dickens. There's an apple on the desk. Looks fresh. I'm tossing onto the drone. Okay, I'm looking out the window. Hey, are you guys still out there? Because I see kids in the schoolyard. I don't see a van or any of you. Yeah, second classroom down the right. You see me? Weird. The apple appeared fresh on the video feed. However, when removed from the samples bin, it was in an advanced state of decomposition. The drone's feed throughout the window showed the Foundation van on the ground, and the research team looking up at the window. No children were seen in the schoolyard. Okay, you want me to head down the hallway? Alright, let's see if I actually make it this time. Not holding out any hopes. Walking forward. It looks 10 feet to the next door, which would usually put it in the last room, but who's counting? I'm still here. It's a little farther than it looks. Feels like I've been walking at least a couple of hours. I'm almost there. I'm just gonna take a little breather. Okay, this is wrong. I've stopped moving, but now I'm going backwards. The hallway's moving past me. The hell? I just saw a door move past me. I'm moving forward again? That's better. Okay, I'm almost there. One last dash and I should make it. I'm back with the robot. I knew it wasn't going to work. There's no way to get there, I'm telling you. The video feed showed the next door was 30 feet away. The total elapsed time from one door to the next was 5 minutes, in which time Agent
Redacted.
meandered towards the end of the hallway. No anomalous activity was observed while he was standing still. When he neared the end of the hallway, Agent
Redacted.
turned around and quickly returned to the beginning of the hallway. Okay, I hear you. I've got my eyes closed. I'm walking forward. Left. Got it. Going straight. Correcting left again. Correcting right now. Okay, this is going a lot faster. Okay, correcting right. Yes, right, I heard you. God damn it, I'm going right. Okay, left? No, it's not the same direction. Look, if you think it's that easy, just send the robot in. The robot was able to reach the end of the hallway with no problems. Agent Redacted attempted to follow, but was unable to keep a straight line to the end of the hallway. Just go ahead and send the bot in. I'm not going to try again until we have a better idea what's going on in there. Something's keeping me out of there. We should figure out what it is before anything else. Look, if you want to know that badly, go yourself or request some Class Ds. I'm not going in. Deal with it. At this point, the robot opened the door and crossed the threshold into another hallway, running perpendicular to the first. 30 meters in length, no doors were visible. A single window was observed but was situated too high for the view of the outside to be visible. The walls were free from graffiti. The left was a dead end, while the right terminated in a left-hand turn. The robot turned right into the new hallway. After 10 meters, the unit's GPS showed it to be outside the building, though the video feed still showed the hallway. It continued to the end of the hallway and turned left. Agent Redacted was just ahead, at the beginning of the original hallway. Turning the camera behind the robot showed only the stairwell, with no sign of the second hallway. The unit's GPS showed it by Agent Redacted's position all this time. I see another classroom. I don't see the robot though. I lost track of it after it went through the door. What do you mean it's outside? Did it go through the window? Look, maybe the GPS is screwy. Calm down, what do you mean turn around? What the hell am I? Oh hell, okay that's enough. I'm calling it for the day. We can come back after we get some D classes in here.